What's up guys, I just got out of the shower, but we are going to be doing a video on things I've made fundamental non-negotiables in my fitness journey. So I'm reading off of a list because there's a lot and I kind of just brainstormed these. I was in the shower and I was like, oh, I should make a video on this. But there are 7 that we're going to get through. So number 1 is I will not answer my phone while I'm at the gym. This is something that I just will not do anymore. I used to take phone calls while I was at the gym, unless it's like a client or something important or I want to talk. I'm no longer guilting myself into answering the phone or feeling guilty that I'm gonna miss somebody's phone call because I didn't answer at that point. That hour and a half to 2 hours is for me. That is the only time where I actually get to kind of just release all my stress, all my anxiety, and just pour into myself. So I am absolutely not answering the phone call anymore at the gym. Oh wait, there's an 8th one. So I did forget this one. But number 8, I'm not making plans with you on the weekdays at all. I'm not making any plans with anybody because I have such a rigorous schedule as an entrepreneur that if it's not something about work or something that keeps me on track with work, I can't do it anymore. I waste too much time, pouring into other people and not into, the business and progressing things and making sure everything's good to go, that it makes me fall behind. I was just out today and I didn't get back until like 3:30. From 7 to 3:30, I was out. It totally ruined my schedule. It ruined my flow. And I get it. Life isn't perfect. There's going to be stuff that comes up. But if I can opt out of it and I don't have to do anything, I'm absolutely not going to do anything on the weekdays with anybody. That is me time to focus on the business, everything else, getting my life organized, and letting my creative juices flow and stuff. Number 3 is I'm keeping my phone on Do Not Disturb till 10 a.m. every single morning, because the amount of times that I've doom scrolled on TikTok or social media in general till like 11 o'clock while I'm eating my breakfast, and it ruined my creativity for the day and my focus of the day, is insane. I no longer have my phone off of Do Not Disturb until it's 10 a.m. Because I wake up at 5 a.m. So that's 5 hours of productivity that I am missing out on, basically, or creativity. Because as we all know, social media and just, TikTok especially, oh my God, TikTok will have you under this spell, and you go down this rabbit hole of content and you're thinking and comparing everybody else to you, and there's so much stimulation. And by the time you get off of that, you're like mush. Your brain is literally mush. And whenever I used to be an in-person coach, my coworkers would always be like, Grayson, you're brain rotting. Because I would sit there for 3 hours, brain rotting, waiting for my next client. If my client canceled before, I would be sitting there brain rotting. Really bad. Number 4, I never let a behavior that negatively impacts my current routine go on for more than a day, because then at that point, it's a new habit. So for example, if I were to go get fast food or maybe have a night out and party and drink in excess, which I rarely do, and we'll get to that, I wouldn't do that again. I wouldn't do that same habit again and repeat it, because that starts to rewire your brain into that being the new habit that you adopt. And it can be as little as skipping a workout. So if I skip a workout one day, I make sure that I don't miss another workout, because it's a non-negotiable and it's a priority for my goals to maintain my aesthetic, but also to maintain my mental health clarity, my discipline, the list goes on and on. So I do not repeat, behaviors that negatively impact my current lifestyle. Um, it's just one of those things that I just don't do. I think it just can be very damaging in a lot of ways. 5, I do not drink in excess. So we're gonna get to this one. So throughout my fitness journey, I ebbed and flowed with alcohol. I was that high schooler that was drinking. I think a lot of high schoolers were drinking, let's be honest. Um, and I would throw parties at my place and stuff like that. Just a group of my friends, we would always be drinking and doing whatever. And it I did it more so because I thought it was cool. I thought it was like the cool thing to do and whatever. Um, and throughout the years, I just felt like garbage. The more and more I pursued a business, it it really clicked in my head that alcohol doesn't really serve me in a positive way, other than the social aspect. Alcohol doesn't make me feel good. It's poison in any amount. It's awful, like for your health, your fitness, your recovery, everything. So I've taken alcohol pretty much out of my life. Now, I don't necessarily have a restrictive mindset around it because I will still drink a glass of wine here or there, or I'll have a margarita. But like the last time that I drank was on a cruise that I was on about, I think like 2 months ago. And before that, like it was like every so often. Me and my one good friend, we would always do like wine Sundays, but even that was infrequent and it would be like 2 glasses. So I've really just hunkered down on that, not because I wanted to restrict myself on it, but because I realized that it just doesn't serve a positive purpose for me. I don't feel good whenever I'm drinking. I don't feel good the next day. And especially as someone who wants to be as productive as possible or really reap the benefits of productivity and just creativity, alcohol doesn't do that like at all. And I understand that it can be an escape for some people, but I'm the type of person that likes to really look at what I'm doing wrong in my life and actually fix it instead of escaping it. And not everybody, thinks like that, and I know that. I'm aware of that, and it might be harder for some people, but that's the only way that I know how to truly, dig myself out of something, is to reflect upon it and actually, do the inner work to fix it. So that's why I don't drink in excess. Number 6 is I don't eat out in excess either. So again, this goes hand in hand because eating out, one, I can't control what I'm eating, okay? And number 2, it's not as good quality. It's not necessarily always going to be able to support my goals. And I look at eating as a sign of self-respect. So whenever I'm, gorging on fried food and stuff, I realize that that food doesn't necessarily support my goals. It actually goes against them. And it's not a respectful thing to my body, like I treat my body as a temple. And that doesn't mean that I can't ever eat that stuff or that I will never eat fried food or go out to, a restaurant or whatever. I'm a big foodie. If you know me, I am a huge foodie. I love going into all the restaurants. I love sushi. I go to all you can eat sushi a bunch. So don't get me wrong. I love eating out. That is like my favorite treat, I guess. But for the most part, I'm cooking for myself. I know what I'm eating. I can control that, and it's a lot healthier overall. So I don't really eat out in excess at all. 7 is I look at food as a reflection of self-respect. So we kind of already talked about this, but Yeah, I truly do look at food as like a sign of self-respect. I'm not sure what else to say about that, because I kind of went in depth with it. But then the last one is that I just have routines and schedules in place. So I have a morning routine and a nighttime routine. I know basically what I'm doing throughout my week. I plan out my weeks on Sundays and Mondays. So I know at this specific time I have a coaching call, or this specific time I have to go grocery shopping, or I actually don't. I'm not going to say that I schedule out my grocery shopping. I just know that I do it on Sundays. So that was a lie. Um, but I know whenever I'm doing something, and that's what keeps me on routine the most, is because I know from this time to this time, I have it kind of just sectioned away to think of content ideas, brainstorm things, think of how I can sharpen up my program, think about, DMing people, reaching out to people, making connections, all of those things. I have routines and schedules in place to make this all successful. That's really what it's all about, because a successful business is just a system that you kind of repeat over and over again. You input the same thing and it repeats, and the same outcome occurs. So to have a successful business, you have to have successful systems. So systems and routines and schedules are super, super important to me. And yeah, those are my fundamental non-negotiables that I have kind of just built into my lifestyle, my fitness journey, my fitness routine, stuff like that. But I think I am going to do a day in my life as an online coach, and also a morning routine and nighttime routine videos. So those 3 videos are probably going to come up next. But I will catch you guys on the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe.